Good day, traders. Hoping that everybody's doing well today. Let's see what we've got in the live session now. You guys can drop off some pairs there, drop off your comments. Let's see if we can get some pips today, see if we can make some profits and try to take advantage of available moves. This is Master Fx Shifu from the Universal Forex Dojo. Okay, so usually I know that you guys love gold. You guys love gold. You guys love indices, Euro USD, and some of the majors. So we'll just hop on those and try to take advantage of that. Okay, just wiping the screens and try and see what we've got today. Can you guys hear me? How's my sound? My sound is good. Then I can definitely get started. USD Swiss franc. How is it official? Much love, Cape Town, South Africa. Ashley Abrahams. This is Master Shifu from Johannesburg. CD Khalo wants us to look at NASDAQ and the Aussie AUD. Loud and clear. Perfect. GU. Perfect, guys. Let's see what we've got. Starting at the top, USD Swiss franc. I had a nice setup with it yesterday. Yeah, we did. Had a nice with this 4-hour one and this miniature one in here, which triggered beautifully, hitting nice R's there. Let's see what we've got today. Okay. So usually I'll tell you guys to take a look at your daily zone, to try to take a look at what the daily zone is telling you. See if you're trading within the levels so it doesn't catch you off guard. And once you've got your daily zones in there, then you can start looking at taking advantage and making the most of it. And with this one here, already we've got a decent bullish structure over here. A nice daily buy, daily BOS. We've got a decent OB we're expecting price to come back into and trade from. There's one of those trades that you can keep for later reference when you're just chilling one of these days, analyzing any triggers. You can look at entering the setup right here. And we have confirmed that we are bullish. Take a look at the 4-hour. Let's hop on even lower. Go back down to lower time frames. See what we can find. See what the market is telling us. And remember, we're not trying to trade. We're not trying to trade what we think. We're trying to trade what the market is giving us. And from this alone, you can see some liquidity just laying around there. And once you start seeing something like this, you know that there's a lot of orders just laying here. There's a lot of people that have got sells, that have got stops, that are just laying here. And we're waiting for that to be taken out. And this is just looking at the hourly, by the way, guys. You must remember now, even going deep into price, you could find a setup like we did last week on GU. You'd find something here. So just going deeper into price, the most popular approach for this one would be not to trade the sells here. Let me just go down here. I see Don is saying what a clown show this is, and that's amazing. Anyway, so going back up into the zones, you don't want to trade in here. You do not want to trade in here, but what you can do, the approach that you can use, is to trade once price actually does break this and starts trickling down. You can trade the zones over here, provided you've got structure in the lower time frames that confirms this. So in essence, let's go even deeper into the lower time frames. Okay, go further in. There we go. On the 5 here, you've got this level here that you want to be broken. You've got some highs there that are holding. So what you want to see is price basically breaking down, giving you new lows, giving you a new breaker structure, and then you want to see coming back, picking up your order, and that's where you want to sell. So you don't want to wait for price to get into the zone or to get into your so-called resistant levels and start trading it from there. You want to trade it when it gives you structure to the downside, provided you do see it. If you don't see that structure, you don't trade it. You will get wicked out. You'll find yourself priced either taking into trade and then leaving you abandoned in the street there. So judging from this, looking at it from these levels, you wouldn't want to trade anything as yet. On the 5, you can wait for price to break structure first, see what it does on these levels here. So I'm just going to mark that over there, mark that over there. And then once you are here, you see price trickling down to the 95819 zone, retracing back, and this level holding, giving you a new lower high, giving you a new lower low. Then you start looking at trading it from an OB at the top and taking it down from there. Until you see that, don't touch it. The second it starts breaking, let's go back into the hourly. The second it starts breaking the zone here at the top, then you can start getting interested in the trade because you would know that liquidity has been taken. And if it has been taken, you can look at the downside or even bullish momentum based on what the structure is showing you. So always start looking at it from that zone over there. So for now, you just have to wait. You need to wait for the 95819 level, the 95933 level. Watch what it does in those breaks. Look at what it does in this liquidity zone over here. And when it starts trickling down, scroll down to your 15 5-minute time frames. Watch what it does going down or going up. Use structure to get in. Use your order blocks as your entry zones, and keep your stop loss ranges tight. Then you should be fine. For now, just keep an eye on it and watch the zone here at the top. Let's actually mark it. Hopefully it happens in the stream. I'm going to add an alert there. I'm going to add an alert there. And then I'm going to put another one there. So until we get any of these triggers, we're not going to watch it. We need to see what it does. Okay. Going back out into the comments here, I see Dehali wants us to look at NASDAQ and gold. We've got GU from Abdul here. We've got, who else we have? The camera isn't clear. I'm not sure if Cam can check that for us. We are using StreamYard here. Let me just do this. Go back. I see Ali Rahim here wants us to look at US 30 and go through the fundamentals. Definitely do that. Sarah wants us to look at NQ as well. What's NQ, Sarah? NAS 100. Okay, we'll look at NAS 100. We'll do that. In the meanwhile, let's see if Cam can take a look at the quality of the video for us. I think once he does that, it'll be perfect. Let's start with US 100. Okay. So I usually like telling you guys that with US 100, you always want to see what price is doing on the daily time frames, because it usually does move aggressively towards them and then retraces from that, breaks some zones from there. So you always want to trade from your daily time zones or your daily time frame levels, key levels. And just like Ali asked, they're looking at the fundamentals. We'll be looking at it from that point. So firstly, you have to look at your, let me just clean this chart a bit. Okay, so from this point on, looking from the daily, first you've got your zone at the bottom, key level at the bottom, and you've got your decent one at the top there. So these are your most important zones. So in essence, I'm just going to go back again. If you look at price from this zone here on the daily, you saw it basically pushing down, creating a bearish structure, and then failed to break the bottom here, retraced, started giving us bullish structure, and then you're seeing it retracing now, coming back into this OB over here. So now what you're expecting to do is for the zone to hold on the daily structure, by the way. You're expecting it to hold and price continuing to break these highs. And that's only if we're going bullish. This is the daily, by the way. So what this means now is this zone here at the bottom is a zone that you actually have to be careful of. It has to hold if you're going to go bullish. If it doesn't hold, you're definitely not going bullish on the daily time frame. So once you've got that bias in mind and you have it in mind, you know that once you start trading these bearish moves here on the lower time frames, you are very wary of what's happening here and the chances of you being the chances of getting a reversal in this zone. So that's what you must always be wary of. And can you please do again this one? Just repeat that for me. I'll just take a look. So once you start trading this zone here, this downward momentum here, you'll trade it on the basis that your daily structure has a possibility of retracing from this OB over here. So that's what you have so far on the daily. So now what that means now is moving down onto the lower time frames. We're going to skip the 4 hour for now because we're trying to get setups that actually will trigger in the live stream. Remember the daily bias, by the way, guys. Remember that. So once you start getting deeper into price and looking at your hourly, you start getting more setups inside this hourly time frames. And you can already see that push to the downside, minor retracement. I would not really consider this as a good retracement, bearing in mind that a retracement from this OB over there will possibly not even happen. And I'll just show you why, guys. And you have this massive push to the downside, leaving a zone here, push up, and then now you see in a bit of a range. Price coming back to the zone over here is minimal, very minimal. Hop now, drop down further into a 30-minute. So as you guys can see, we start with the daily to get the zones that we're working with. Go down to a time frame that you like trading. If you're an intraday trader, you'll use probably the 1 hour, the 30-minute. And if you're more swinging and so forth, you'll use the 4 hour and upwards. And once you do find your levels on the hour, which we just did, this one over here where there's a bit of a range, and this one over here where I highly doubt price will come back to, I will find an unmitigated OB, because the most recent unmitigated OB would be this one. But price tends to swing aggressively with these type of pairs. So you always want to make sure you've got that. Just going to remove this OB at the bottom, the daily one. And then let's focus on these ones. And this one over here at the top. You really want to ensure that you don't get wicked out of setups. And then in here, go further into price. You can still leave that one here. We're in the 15 now. And remember with these ones at the New York Open, that's when you start seeing some good momentum. You start seeing some good price moves. And that's when you start understanding what this can do for you. Okay. So now we've got that USD Swiss franc price alert. We'll just hop into it shortly and see what it's doing in that zone. Continuing the US 100, hopping even lower into the 5-minute, you start seeing I see Dream FX is asking here, basically you need to create a story that makes sense to you before eventually taking a trade. Exactly. You must always do that. It has to make sense to you. And I think that's the most important element of journaling your trades. Because once you start telling a story in a specific way, a number of times consistently, you start seeing what works and what doesn't work. And you start seeing how you visualize the markets yourself. Because as much as we can go through the stream and share as much knowledge as we can, how you understand it and how you understand concepts will eventually determine how you basically take the plunge and take the trades. So that's one thing that you have to really get. Okay, going back into US 100, we are in that OB that I explained to you guys, the range that we're looking at, which is this entire which is this entire level over here. So we are looking for a trade to the downside in this OB. And as we scroll down from the hour to the 30 and the 15 and the 5, we're going to find structure here at the 5-minute one. And based off basic rules, you always want to see clean price action, clean price structure, which goes back now to what I just shared with you guys on the USD Swiss franc price, USD Swiss franc chart. So you'd want this level to hold. This is the story where it begins. You want the level to hold because you had a break of structure, which means you're expecting a new lower high to be created, and then expecting another break of structure wherever it turns, wherever this downward momentum turns. And once you start seeing this, your entry will have to be a similar candle like this one on the next lower high. So that's what you want to see. And you're only seeing this on the 5-minute for now. So in essence, what you want to see here is the zone creating the new low, moving back up, creating a lower high, which doesn't break this high over here, and then moving back down further. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that makes sense. So in essence, now with US 100 on the 5-minute, you want to see structure, you want to see this happening. So whether you get in here, it's up to you. Some people do get in prematurely where structure isn't formed yet, and price ends up doing that, retracing, forming what you call equal lows, going back to the top. So it's all up to you how you want to do it, which is why telling the story is very, very important. Journaling your trades is very, very important. And you end up looking for the same thing in all the charts, which basically makes your process very simple and achievable. So that's the one thing that a lot of people miss. You end up trying so many things that you lose track of what you're doing. You lose track of what works and what doesn't work. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. So US 100, moving forward, you're waiting for the zone to hold. And remember, we still have another zone here at the top. The one that I was telling you guys that there's a high chance price will not go there. It's still there, it's still valid. And as your setups keep getting invalidated, they start confirming what's happening on the higher time frame, which means you still have other zones to work on. You can still hop in and take opposite trades if you do, based on what price is telling you, not what you want to see. So I'm going to mark this as well, and I'm going to create an alert right in the middle. And the reason why I use alerts, guys, they just remind me to go back to a specific pair. And based on the process that I use, I'm able to go back and look for exactly what I wrote in the beginning, because I'm always looking for the same thing with all the pairs. Every single pair that I study, I look for the same thing. So in essence, when price does come back and trigger this alert, I want to start looking at it and see if are we breaking this and forming bullish structure, or are we confirming this and continuing with bearish structure, and where can I get in? That's how I'll be approaching it, and a highly recommended approach. I hope that makes sense, guys. Abdul, I hope that fundamentals and the way to approach it makes sense for you. And let's see how we go from there. Hopping on now to the USD Swiss franc, which gave us the alert a couple of minutes ago. So we just had a wick. Okay, I'm just going to keep it on the 5 so I can make it clear for you guys. So now this basically broke this level. So now we know that, number one, we are not getting bearish structure, or it has not been confirmed yet. The story is still building. We don't see what's going on. Number two, you do see structure to the upside now based off this break. This is on the 5-minute, by the way, guys. So based on this break, you see the broken structure here, which means, in essence, if price is going to go bullish, this zone here has to hold. And we will see another low being created. And once you see the low being created and price moving to the top side again, breaking whatever high this one creates, then we can start looking for an entry at a level inside. You see what I'm saying when I start talking about maintaining the same process across all platforms, across all charts. So for now, what we will do is keep this alert. We could remove it, but we just have to keep it and see where price is going to create a new high, and then wait for a new low to be created. And then once we've got a new low being created, we can hop on and move from there. I hope that makes sense, guys. Okay, I'm just going to remove some of these alerts that we had. Let's hop on to US30. And remember, you want to know what your daily is telling you. You want to know where you are. I'm just going to have to clear it properly here so you guys can understand it better. So you can understand the thought process behind. Okay, so we had this high over here. We had, this is where the story starts, by the way. We had this BOS over here. I'm looking at current price action. We had this bigger structure over here. So which means we're waiting for two things. The high to hold a new lower high, because now we'll be getting a low here. Once you get a new lower high, we're expecting that new lower high to create a broker structure, probably at this level over here, because you can see it going up. I see overall higher time frame structure still bearish, definitely. And then if you're looking at this zone over here, you start seeing the bearish structure in play. Now, if you want to look at overall price structure from the higher time frame, this is what you're looking at, where you had this move from the high going to the bottom, creating a new lower high, new lower low, retracing this first lower high, holding. Now we're expecting price to break this low. Expecting price to break that low. This is on the daily. So this is a setup that will probably trigger in a couple of days. But yeah, expecting price to break here from this OB that was created initially, which is actually what just happened now. I think we actually did share this before. So we'll have something like that. You can trade from here again. You can do that. It's unmitigated on the daily. And then you'll have a setup that looks something like that, targeting these lows, although you know that we usually don't like targeting certain lows. You want them to basically align and move from there. So once you've got this, you can keep this as well, keep it in mind. And then hopping onto lower time frames, you can still find even tighter setups inside here, whether it's bearish or bullish. It's up to how aggressive you are, how risky you are, and you can take it from there. So this is another setup you can look at. But let's hop on now to the lower time frames so we can start finding a decent trade that agrees with the higher time frame bias. From the higher time frame to the lower time frame, everything must be in confluence. Yes, that's a less risky approach. Let me just put yours here quickly. That's another approach you can use, which is less risky, by the way. But now I'm just going to give you a bit of a food for thought. So if you've got a setup like this, which is bearish on the higher time frame, and you know that, okay, we can't do it from this point, but once you have this breaker structure, and you had this new low being formed, we both know that price does not move in a straight line. It has to retrace. And once you know that the next retracement, and you know that where price is most likely going to go is to fill order blocks at the top and still holding the previous lower high. So you know that price is most probably going to retrace. And if you do see a lot of imbalances and OBs over here, then you know that apart from this breaker structure, there's a lot of orders that are left in here which have to be picked up. And that's when now you start looking at bullish trades in the zone over here. I hope that makes sense in the lower time frame. It's a bit riskier, but you know that as you're waiting for that big sell, the sell that you have that agrees with the higher time frame bearish momentum, you can still take a few buys to the top side. Definitely, you can trade your way up. You just have to make sure that your higher time frame confluence, your setups do make sense in that regard. So let's see on the hourly if we can find something on the US30. And we'll also hop on to gold shortly as well. We have US 100, we have USD Swiss franc, where the setups are already there. We did put some alerts there. We are waiting for price to give us something decent on that and those. So let's clean up the chart a bit, see what we can find. This is one of the reasons why when you trade indices, you see there's massive pushes. You never really find clean price action. You're always looking at price moving in aggressive manners, price going to specific areas in a very dramatic approach. Okay, let's see over here. With a bit of a range. The price action, you want to see structure. And just make it bigger so you guys can see. We could see something forming on the 5 minute. Because remember, based off the daily, we are probably in a point where the first order block was filled and price is going to the downside. We're going to check US Swiss franc just now because we did have our second alert. And then on US30, we have this break over here. And of course, the high, following the same methodology, the same process. Just keep applying it, keep practicing it, keep making it your own. Then you'll definitely be fine. So with this regard, because we don't see clean price action as yet, we still need a lower high. We need a lower low. Then we can take and trade from the order block. So for now, let's wait and see. Add an alert over there at the top, see if it doesn't break it. And I'm going to add another one right in the middle. See, once price gets there, are we getting a new lower high? Are we getting a potential point of entry? Are we getting a potential setup that is in formation? And once we do get that, we can definitely hop on and trade to the downside. Okay, let me mark that as well. I see somebody else wanted Bitcoin. Let's see where we are now. Bitcoin also has another tendency of just going the opposite way and giving us something very dramatic. Okay, so on the daily, just going to erase this here. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Let's see what we've got. Okay. I think before we hop into this one, let's also look at where our alert was. Okay, there we go. Hop onto the lower time frame. So this is where we are. Remember when I told you guys about the liquidity being grabbed? This is definitely what's happening now. So what you can do now is hop onto the lower time frames to see what's going to give you. You might find it giving you this liquidity grab on a bullish move and see it hopping all the way to the top. So from this point of view now, what you can do is you'll have, this is on the 5 minute, by the way, guys, move my alert, removed the first price point. So this high was broken, meaning you have a new on the 5 minute. You're waiting for price to basically retrace a bit, give you a low, this zone holding, and push into the upside. Or what you can do is you can also find yourself price doing that, retracing and failing to break new highs, failing to break that and starts trickling down. And that's also a potential for another sell at that point. I hope that makes sense, guys. So for now, we are still watching, we are still holding. Always maintain your patience. Make sure that you're always patient, because if you do rush these trades, you will get humbled a number of times. Okay, so Bitcoin, starting with the daily, trying to build your bias, trying to build your story, trying to see what Bitcoin is showing you. And overall here, we are a bit bullish just by looking at this price action here. It's a bit hard to see, but we are, because you've got your first low point over there, and you can use this wick or you can use this Ponzi. I'll just use that wick over there, and then you've got this high over here. You've got the BOS, a new high was formed, meaning you have this entire area to work with. And you know, once the price breaks below the 50% mark, you can start looking for bullish momentum. You can start looking for entry. Okay. This one is not clean at all. It's really, it's really not clean. And let's see what we've got here. We've got the high over there, so expecting price to basically come back and retrace, pushing to the upside at the zones here. Now looking for an OB in the zone here. It's going to be pretty tricky, but you will find one. Let me just scroll down. This will be a decent trade, mainly because we're using a higher time frame structure. So you've got this mitigated. Okay, let's go further in again until we can find a decent OB to work with. And then we've got these zones here. This one was mitigated here. Yep. So you probably look at this one over here. And just to be on the safe side, you can increase your stop loss just below the zone here, which means your daily zone would look something like this. Going up to this high, of course. Then you'll have something along these lanes here. Ideally, I'd want to basically refine this further to find a tighter stop loss range. But for now, this is what we have. And remember, once price gets in there, we don't use limit orders. We never use limit orders. Wait for price to get in. And then we look for another confirmation on the lower time frame, bullish structure. Then once you have bullish structure on the lower time frame inside this OB, then we can start looking at the buys. So I'm going to have an alert at the entry of this one. And then let's see what the lower time frame has. Let me just go back here quickly and show you. Just like now when Dream Team FX had a chat, we understood that you can look for, remember, waiting for price to come into the zone. So in the wait for price to come into the zone for a bullish move, you can still take sells all the way into the zone. So that's what we're going to be trying to do now on the lower time frames. Okay, there we go. Price action on the lower time frame now is not giving us anything. We do have bullish moves already, and we want to trade bullish all the way from the bottom, not at the top. So until we start seeing price action drop into the downside on the lower time frames, we're not going to be touching it. So let's hop down even lower. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we have here. I think that's the thing. Bitcoin is just messy. It's all over the place. Okay, so I've got a zone here that we can work with, a sensitive area. So I'm going to mark the sensitive area. So what I'll basically be doing now is only the weekly looks like it's going to break the order block on Bitcoin. Definitely. Let's see if it does. If it does, we definitely go along with it using the momentum. So now I just put the alert here on the 5, just so that when price does break the zone, I'll be able to see what's been happening here. And if it does give me clean price action on this level to this break here, we will look for an OB to trade from and sell all the way down to that zone that we picked at the bottom. So meanwhile, that's all that we have on Bitcoin. The hourly is not giving us anything clean. The 30 is not giving us anything clean. So yeah. Okay, so moving forward. Yes, this is Frank is still following us. Let's take a look. Remember, we're looking at this one from the 5-minute. And we just had that retracement. So that's the first one that we're looking at now. So we have this high. We have the low that we marked earlier. This double lows over here. So now what we're anticipating is for this low not to be broken. And for a retracement, breaking this high, which will give us an order block. So whatever we're working towards now, if it does not break this 95819 level, it will be creating an order block that we'll be trading from, provided it breaks this high here at the top. Then would have had clean price action. So that's what we want to see. And remember, you're always trading what price is showing you. So if it does break this level, then it definitely invalidates what we want to see on the 5-minute. And we keep waiting. Remember that. Okay, so now we're going to have an alert again. Just mark this over here. Just going to put it somewhere in this level here and at this high here. Those are our next or interesting price points. It can turn even lower, by the way, just that we'll be able to see it when it does. And until then, we continue. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like the stream. Okay, so you've got GJ. Somebody wants us to look at GJ. So let's look at gold. NAS 100 we did take a look at. I hope the camera is clear now, guys. And GU. Okay, awesome. GJ, GU, gold. Let's start with the gold over here. Just pick up the daily, what the daily is showing us. Okay, let's see. Gold has been playing around this area, by the way, guys. So there's a lot of liquidity that's just chilling here. I mean, since about the 15th. So every time it gets into the area that it currently is on, you see a bullish move from there. So now with zones like these, when you start seeing these type of levels happening, what you can actually focus on, as he said, it never looked blurry. Oh, okay, so maybe it was a couple of people. Okay. One day you don't hop onto the analysis. Oh yeah, chat with Cam there. So with this one, with gold, once you know the price is reacting at these key levels here, you know now that on the lower time frame, if there is going to be a reaction, you will see bullish momentum, you will see bullish structure, you will find order blocks to trade from on the lower time frame, going to the top side based on the liquidity that's here. So we don't know when liquidity wants to be broken, but we know that it keeps reacting here. And when it does react, you want to be in that price level. Okay, let's start at the 4 and see if we're going to see bullish structure. 1 minute, 1 hour, sorry about that. Here's a bullish structure here. It's pretty hard to see, so probably in the 30-minute, we'll be able to see it clearer. Okay, there we go. So this is exactly what you want to see. So you had this push to the upside, retracement, breaker structure, retracement, breaker structure, retracement, breaker structure. And you see now price came in, probably breaking this one here, where you'll see this OB that will be trading from. I just don't like what this wick did over there. So if you hop onto a lower time frame here, let's see if we can get a nice, decent point of entry. Could have missed it as well, so just be wary of that. I think it did. Okay, let's see. Go even lower. I think this would have been the one, but that one mitigated it. We don't see that one. We don't see actually a clean one, eh? There's no clean one. Okay. So usually when I find myself in these type of positions, I'll just pull out the fibs, go 50% stop loss range of this entire candle over here. And once I've got that, I'll have my zone looking something like that. And of course, targeting the highs. And I'll just wait for price to retrace halfway into this zone. That's also one of the one of the tricks that we use. That's just one of the tricks that we use, whereby the way we enter our setups allows us to basically take advantage of momentum. And by the time price goes against us, we are already 1 hour in, 2 hour in, and we have already partialed from there. So with this one over here, I think there's an old gold alert there. I'm going to put it right here. Sorry, right here. So now what happens is once price does come back down and gets to this level over here, we will have a buy stop at this price level over here with the stop loss right below the wick. And once we've got this buy stop, once price does trigger at 1 hour, move stop to break even, 2 hour either close half of or just move stop to 1 hour, 3 hour close some partials as well, and potentially go to the top side. So that's what we want to see with this pair, this instrument. Sorry about that. There we go. So those are interesting price points that we'll be trading from. And remember now, based on what we've been chatting about since the beginning of the stream, is that you must always see the story. And based off the higher time frame story that we got, which is, let me just rephrase it again so we can be on the same page. Based off this higher time frame key levels here that are created, we know and anticipate that price will be reacting here. Hence, we are looking for a buy and we're looking for structure inside there. It doesn't mean now that this liquidity will not be taken. It just means now we'll trade according to what smart money is trying to do, which is create more liquidity, take more orders, take more orders, take more orders, until it eventually starts breaking it and dismantling a lot of traders here at the bottom. So that's what you want to see. That's what you want to follow, following the same process, following the same storyline. I hope that makes sense, guys. Because now if you hop on now to, let's see here. I'm not sure if it's still here. No, I think we took it out. Let's go over to 4 hour. Okay, no, that's it. So we'll just be watching gold on this time frame and waiting for a setup once price does go back, if it does. And once it does give us a clean entry in here, we can get in and go for push to the upside. Okay, so I see Ghost is saying Elon Musk has bought Twitter for $4 billion. Can this affect Bitcoin? No, I don't think so. Getting money. Okay. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like the stream. And follow us, of course. Follow Master Fx Shifu across all social media. Forex Dojo across all social media. Okay, so this is what we're waiting for. Just gonna go to the red list, which would be the USD Swiss franc. You're waiting for price to give us a new low and break the high so we can get an entry. US 100, waiting for price to retrace, giving us a new lower high, and then we can trade from that point. US 30, giving us a similar setup as US 100, and Bitcoin waiting for an alert here, and then gold also waiting for an alert, which we just did just now. So always try and build your story. So usually you'd have like a whole lot of pairs, because we don't just trade any pair, we don't just get into any setup. You'd find us having a number of setups and just waiting and waiting for the right moment to take the kill. Patience is key. Patience is key. Meanwhile, guys, do you have any questions that I can hop onto? And then we can see what we have. I see somebody here also said, asked us to look at GJ and GU, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go there for now. Rishabh Singh, GU. Okay, let's hop there for now. But I will not be following that one. I know the last person who requested that gave us a pretty nice R on it. Pretty nice R. Okay, let's see. So much noise here. Let me just erase some of that. And then start at the beginning. in this massive imbalance that's left here. Whew, okay. Okay, on the daily, just looks extremely aggressive. Extremely aggressive for 4 hour. 1 hour, 30 minute. Okay, let's see what we have on the 30. Okay, so we have this massive BOS over here as it was going down. Yeah, there's massive base because we were going bearish. If you take a look from there, push the downside to trace, push the downside to trace, break a structure. So you're expecting this level to hold. It was broken just now. So now if it is a fake out, we will see this level being broken again. But if the zone is not broken, if the zone holds, then we are looking at a potential reversal, which means we're looking at price coming back to break this high. So always see what that is going to show us. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so probably wait for this one as well. Probably wait and see what it does at the 26983. Even if it does not get this far, even if it gets halfway through, even if it retraces now and breaks this high, we will definitely start looking at potential bullish moves. So for now, I'll definitely just stay out of it. Just keep an eye on these price points here. I hope that makes sense, guys. Euro USD and GJ. GJ. GJ starting with the daily. Just to see where we are. We did have a nice BOS over here. We see price retracing. So we could see a potential buy at the zone here based off these levels here, broken over there, targeting that high. So off the daily, and then let's see what the 4 hours looking like. Then you can drop even further. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like. And then if you were to refine that, this OB is mitigated. This one is as well. So you're probably looking at this one over here. But now that one is just got mitigated now. Let's see what the 1 hour is saying. Okay, and then we've got that. So probably find this one here and this one here. I think this is more of a decent one to use, mainly because it's at the lowest, unlike the ones that are a bit high. Because now if you think about it, I'm just going to go back to the daily again. If you think about it, this is your trading zone right here. And you always want to trade below this point over here, going to the upside, of course, and the lower you are, the better it is for you. But the most likely that you don't get triggered. But when you do get triggered, you get a better trade. So it's up to you with what you want. Some people do trade from these points here. But like I said, as we're looking at it now, we saw how it got mitigated here. So that will not work for us. And then let's go back now to the lower time frame. Okay, so lower time frame, we've got this bias, force going to the top side to that high over there. And remember, guys, we don't use limit orders. You want to wait for price to come in. Price will start showing you bullish structure in the lower time frame. Then you can take it to the top side. So this is what you want to see. So we'll have an alert here. Wait for price to get in. And once the alert triggers, you get into the price. You go back into 5 minute, 1 minute, doesn't really matter. You start seeing what price is doing. If it starts giving you bullish structure, which is your higher highs, higher lows, break of structure, take an order block trade from there. Try increase your stop loss range slightly bigger because this is based on the lower time frames. And then once you have that, you do have a clean setup to work with and you can take it from there. I hope that makes sense, guys. I see Godfrey wants us to look at EU. We'll definitely take a look. That should be the last one in the hour before the London Open. And you know, guys, once London opens, you will have a lot of liquidity. You'll have a lot of moves. And once those moves start happening, be ready. Wait for the prices. Wait for the setups that we just did now. Wait for price to get hit. Watch what it does. Wait for structure. Then get in for the kill. I see FX Change is asking, do you think pennants are valid consistent on wider time frames? I have not used those before, but what you can do is try them out, back test, get on the charts, import, see what the results are. And if the results are looking good, then try input them on your forward testing moves and try work on those. So me personally, I don't use them. So I will not really have an opinion on them. Thank you for the support, guys. Keep liking. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, FS Crayons. Okay, so moving forward, EU should be the last one that we're doing now. Now, Euro USD, it's a very personal pair for me. I either win a lot or lose a lot. So it's one of those pairs that I'm really careful with when I trade them. And I usually reduce my risk as well. So yeah, that's what happens with this specific pair. Okay, for example, this last week actually, we did keep in mind that we are bearish. We saw it breaking structure over here. And once it did, it came back, broke it again at the top. So we didn't really know what's happening here. But overall, we have the structure here. It pushed the top side, came back pro structure. So because of this break here, we're not really sure where price is going. So for now, it is starting over from scratch on the daily. So let's see now what the 4 hours showing us. So now this is where you start seeing something like this. As I was chatting earlier on with FX, this is where now you start looking at structure. You start looking at setups within structure being formed. So that means you will find structure inside here. The very same way you'll find structure inside here, inside here, inside. There's always a point to trade from. So let me just make it bigger and see if we can find something decent. Go back now to the lower time frames. We're in a bit of a range. Minor breaker structure over here. So retracing, didn't fill out the entire OB. So I'll also wait for the zone to be broken. And once it does, I'll take a trade from a level inside here. Not the one at the top, inside here, because we'll be having new structure. So I think that's the most sensible thing to do. And you can see now, as it keeps going down, it's leaving a lot of imbalances, which is a good sign for us, because it means now as they get filled, it goes back to pick up our order and, of course, get us into a decent setup. So that's what we'll wait for. Wait for price to break the 06964 level. Once it breaks that zone, wait for it to come back up, pick up your order, drop to the downside, and we could get a decent setup there. So for now, let's wait for the break. And then let's wait for this price point over here. That's what we have right now. I'll mark it as well. Then let's see what EU is going to show us. I see Ghost is asking if you can teach me. We do have a boot camp, so just check our website. We do have some promos that run once in a while. So if you do check our Telegram as well, you can follow some of the things that we share in there. And our daily live streams every single day on our channel, Forex Dojo. Yeah, and that's it. So these are the pairs that we actually did analyze today. All of them have points of interest where you want to trade from, and you want to see what it does in that zone. Starting with USD Swiss franc, I think this is the one that's probably going to give us a decent setup today, and we're going to just keep following it. So this is where we are. So here we go. We just got our new lower, higher low. Sorry about that. So our alert now moves to that zone. Now what this means now is that the only thing we're waiting for is for price to break the 95994 level. And once it does, in this zone over here, so what it just did now create an OB for us to work with. This is the zone that we'll be trading from. It's not refined yet. We'll be looking for one that's unmitigated. So for now, we'll just be watching the zone and watching to see what price does. And we'll have something like this going to the top side, of course, based on where this price is going to turn. So the only thing we're waiting for now is this. We don't care when it turns. And then for price to come back down again and pick up the order and go to the top side. If the zone is not broken and it breaks the zone at the bottom now, then it invalidates our setup. We restart again the process and we start looking at structure, whether to the bearish side or the bullish side. I hope that makes sense, guys. So I do think this is one that's actually going to play out for us. I'm just going to keep an eye on it as well. I'll leave the chart on it. So let's see how it plays out from here. And let's see if we can take advantage. And if we can, then that will be beautiful. I hope this makes sense, guys. Other than that, we are about to hop off and get on the London session. Any of these trades that do trigger and we are on it, we will share on the Trading Night channel on Telegram. Check it out and follow the setups. And you can also follow them on our channel. And definitely check out our website to see what's happening over there. In the meantime, happy trading, guys, and make sure that your risk management is on point. Do not risk too much. Allow consistency and higher RR trades to keep you trading longer, more consistently, and more profitable. I hope that makes sense, guys. I'll just drop the website link here at the bottom in the chat. You can check it out and I'll trade from there. Check you guys next week, Tuesday, guys. Remember, follow the setups. Just keep watching them. Wait for them to trigger for you. Wait for price to come to you. Don't rush price. Don't go to price. And things will work out for you. Happy trading, guys. Cheers.